Good afternoon and welcome to Market Closing on our collab show between Business Today and India Today TV. Let's take you through all the market closing action, how markets have fared for the day. First, a quick look at the headlines. The rupee falls to its record low against the dollar, hits 89.78 in trade. The Indian currency is down 40 paise in a day and 1 rupee in a month. Currency weakens amid trade flow pressures and importer hedging. RBI to make its stance clear on Friday. Morning euphoria fades as rupee hits record low, dragging markets off record highs. Nifty slides 40 points below 26,200. Sensex drops 100 points near 85,600, with bank and realty stocks under pressure. November turned out strong for automakers. Maruti Suzuki tops the charts with 26% year-on-year growth, hitting its highest ever monthly sales. Tata Motors also reports 26% growth in passenger vehicles, while Hyundai rises 9%. In the commercial segment, Eicher Motors jumps 37%. Among two-wheelers and tractors, Bajaj Auto gains 8% and M&M posts 19% growth. Silver futures hit fresh record highs on the COMEX and MCX as global uncertainty, rate cut bets and tight supplies fuel demand. MCX March silver jumps to 1.78 lakh per kilo, while gold gains nearly 1% on strong spot buying and both the Fed and RBI rate cut expectations. Winter session opens with Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman tabling Health Security, say National Security Cess Bill and Excise Amendment Bill 2025. The government plans higher excise on tobacco, cigarette duty to rise to 2,700 to 11,000 per thousand sticks, contributing to a divisible pool. All right, we've got both, Shell Bhatnagar joining us, as well as Sneha Podar, Vice President, Research Analyst, BND at MOFSL, and we'll get right into it with them. But quick look at the index first, bring that up for you. Down over 600 points from the day's high, as we discuss, and lots of factors at play here. It's still steady. Remember, we're trending at those all-time high levels, and Nifty is facing a bit of technical resistance on those higher levels right now. But a couple of factors perhaps weighing into pressure. Wait and watch mode ahead of commentary coming in from central banks. That's definitely one. And of course, the rupee also sliding and seeing weakening today. That's also dampening the index somewhat. Nifty IT, however, standing strong on the back of that, up about 0.5% or so right now. And auto having a field day on the back of some stellar numbers that have come in on November sales so far. Sneha Podar joining us. Sneha, good to have you with us. Let's kickstart with the auto sales numbers first, because we've seen strength all around. What are you making of these numbers? And is it only really a trailer or a teaser of what could come next in the calendar year for auto majors?
A very good afternoon. The auto numbers have been quite good and encouraging, and in fact, we have been anticipating such numbers. Basically, what we believe that post the GST cut, auto was one of the main sector which got benefited the most, and that is actually what is reflecting. So it's not only that with the festive season over, that the demand has gone subdued. So this clearly shows that the demand is pretty strong, and it will continue to hover, because GST reduction has been one of the biggest for the auto, and especially the two-wheelers, which becomes more affordable for the mass economy. So with the clear auto sector being the winner of the GST benefit, these numbers were expected, and stellar numbers by each and every player, and especially two-wheelers of them.
All right, so auto fully on track there. Some profit booking coming into banks this afternoon, but banks clearly have been a pocket of activity on the back of those consumption bets. When it comes to that, Sneha, within the banking pack, what are you looking at? Which would be your top picks?
Okay, so we are definitely seeing profit booking because, last week the markets did, touch a new high after 14 months, which was obviously, after this good run. I mean, some profit booking was expected, and moreover, with the RBI policy meet this week, and there are a couple of important macro data points which are set to get released, and plus. Next week we have a US Fed meeting. So with a couple of key important events to unfold going ahead, obviously some sort of caution is expected. But despite that, there are few pockets where the action is being seen, auto, IT especially, especially post the rupee hitting the new lows. So I mean that way the IT sector will benefit, and plus given the high probability that the US Fed might go ahead with the rate cut, so obviously that will provide some support to the IT stocks. Overall, PSU, space wherein the merger talks are going in a big way. So obviously, that will benefit if the mergers do materialize. So these are some of the pockets which are looking interesting from that angle.
All right, we'll come back and talk about IT, but focusing on the rupee and the fresh record low we've seen today, slipping to 89.78 against the US dollar, breaking its previous low now of 89.49 recorded just 2 weeks ago. The sharp depreciation coming despite India posting a stronger than expected Q2 FY26 GDP growth of a whopping 8.2%. All eyes are now, of course, as Sneha also mentioned, on the RBI's policy stance on Friday. And the markets are hoping that there will be some clarity there. To decode what's driving the fall and its impact across sectors, let's go across to Subramaniam Sharma, founder and director at Greenback Advisory Services. Mr. Subramaniam, thanks for joining us. Give us a sense of really what's happening on the rupee and why this sharp fall. We saw it 2 weeks ago and again today a bit of a nosedive coming in.
See, the rupee has been under pressure after the US stance on India on the tariff front. So basically, the tariff has been the biggest spoiler of the growth on the rupee movement, and rupee has seen continuous depreciation in spite of the dollar weakening against other currencies. So rupee has got isolated only because of the fact of this tariff, and to that extent, exports have got affected. So there has been a physical impact of the fall in export and a psychological impact of that negativity which has been taken by the importers, and they have been buying on all dips. And the most important factor is an FII who has not been active this year. There have been more outflows than inflows, and that has also been one of the reasons for the rupee's depreciation. So we are seeing the rupee hitting new highs and it breaking certain levels, and the break of those levels is prompting a bigger move. So I won't call it a panic, but it is more action by importers to protect their bottom line, because they expect that the tariff factor is not going to change very soon unless India signs the trade agreement with US, and the tariff factor is reduced from that additional tariff of 25% and all. So I think the rupee may remain under pressure. RBI is doing the job of intervening, because when they saw the rupee break that 89, they intervened and it came below 89, settled around 88, 80 levels. But once again, it moved above 89, and today it broke 89.50, and there was a sharp move. So each move is little sharper because there's a inbuilt demand with no corresponding inflows. Exporters are also little conservative. They are holding on to their inflows, waiting for higher levels, because there have been talks of rupee testing 90 very soon and all. So I think yes, the pressure is there, but this pressure is on the back of the positives, which are more. We are seeing a higher growth. We saw the GDP growing at a high level of 8.2% and all. So rupee on a standalone basis is purely driven by this negative news of the tariff, which when corrected can see a big correction on the rupee also.
Okay, still watching out for some kind of clarity on the trade deal being done, and as Mr. Subramanian said, some of that news flow keeping everyone on edge. But 90 rupee at the currency trending at 90 is something we haven't seen in a very, very long time, Mr. Subramanian. What are the likely implications of that? And with the RBI actually meeting on Friday, can we expect anything from the central bank in terms of commentary or an attempt to, of course, support the currency as they have done in the past?
See, the rupee has always been depreciating, and the depreciation has been in the range of 3 to 4%. So if you see the current level of rupee, considering the beginning of year, it is depreciated by 4.7%, and the last 4 months has been more higher by more than 2%. Of course, this has been driven by the main factor of the tariff factor and lesser exports. Of course, RBI has been intervening. They have been pumping, and the reserves have also slightly fallen due to the intervention. So we could see the trend to continue with RBI coming in by preventing a sharper depreciation. So that is one aspect of it. Second is, yes, the inflation has been under control. We have seen the inflation at the lowest level. The negative factor, of course, is also the trade deficit has widened last quarter, and that has also been the negative for the rupee. On the positive side, which can hamper or stop the rupee sharp fall, would be the lower inflation, or possibility of a rate cut by RBI in the coming credit policy, and also a possible rate cut in the US in their FOMC meeting or something. So we are having a mixed bag where the impact of the rupee is much sharper, but once all this tariff cut is corrected, and we could see a big correction on the rupee, and I won't be surprised by a 2-3% appreciation when the tariff factor is lifted. So yes, we have to live with it. Market is getting thinner. In December, FI action is going to be much more lesser. Importers buying on dips, exporters on the sideline. All will keep the rupee under pressure, but RBI will be the factor who will keep controlling, and we may see a correction in next 2 days where the rupee may possibly come below 89.20 also. But yes, we are going to see good volatility in the coming days.
All right, Mr. Subramanian, we'll leave it there. Not the best news that we want to hear right now, but, or at least for a large number of sectors, but 89.20 and further volatility due on the currency. That's really what Mr. Subramanian is predicting. Remember, tariffs have had a big impact on the manufacturing sector, somewhat cushioned, yes, as India has, of course, found diversification through other countries, but still, we did see a 9-month low during November attributed to reduced sales growth and production amidst difficult market conditions. And some of that news is what's playing out. Shell joining us. Shell, good afternoon. 10 minutes to go to close. What's catching your eye? Market's steady at this point of time, and I can see you're not too happy with that.
Yeah, I think I'm disappointed. Let me just be very honest. The gap up wasn't much to my liking, and what's worse, the gap has been filled down. And the intraday charts are also, for the Nifty in particular, deteriorating. And worse, silver is rising. So, something that the market is reading which we may not be aware of. And that's what is happening. Let's look at the GST number and then maybe take a view. But this is truly disappointing. An 8.2 number getting, sold into the market. Whether the market believes the commentary or not, only time will tell. But Bhav Bhagwan hai, and Bhav is not happy.
Shell, we can't have you look so disappointed on a Monday afternoon. You've got the whole week to go. I'm sure we'll see a return of momentum, and so much to track this week with the RBI commentary later this week, the Fed meet. So lots of action in store, and sales, auto sales numbers are top of the charts as you anticipated. Let's look at some of the big movers. I think the Tata Motors CV side, as well as the numbers coming in from Maruti, have been phenomenal. Let's take a closer look at those. The auto index itself is up 0.8% right now, Shell.
Yeah, Abha, you're absolutely right. But remember the really bullish commentary that we have in the morning. We had in the morning 1,700 stocks, 1,800 stocks in the green. Now the ratio is completely reversed. Just 1,164 stocks in the green, and stocks that are in the red are 1,535. So it's a reversal of trend that's happened, and that's not really something to. It's something to be worried that this GDP number is getting sold into, and ahead of the RBI commentary. Let us see. I mean, there are lots of naysayers as far as the data is concerned. But, one must understand that truth lies somewhere in the middle of what 8.2 something that the government has put out, and the way the market has reacted to it. Finally, the market is the ultimate arbiter of what the number has been put out and what it really believes. So for the moment, there's profit booking at 26,300 on the Nifty, and the Bank Nifty is also slipped well below 60,000. We were crowing about it in the morning. Yeah. So let's see, 59,679 for you, down about 75 points. So let's see.
Yeah, fair point. I mean, that GDP number is outstanding, and if one had to see a market reaction, it would have been on those numbers that came way beyond the highest expectation of about 7.5. But let's dive deep into that a little bit later. I want to pull up Wockhardt since we're on pharma. Let's pull up that stock because this is on a US FDA approval. Shares up about 19-20%. A fast track there for Wockhardt for one of the drugs that it has in store, an antibiotic called Zanich, and that's Wockhardt for you, hitting up a circuit today. So that's something that's catching our eye this afternoon. Sneha, let's get your view in some of the other pockets of the market as well. IT, let's take a closer look at that. Some amount of a recovery play there, of course, today also moving on the back of those currency fluctuations within IT. What are your preferred picks?
Okay, so within ITC, I mean, overall, the entire IT pack is, I mean, the risk reward is very favorable. And I mean, whichever companies you pick up, I mean, it's just a little bit to say mid cap ITs did participate comparatively better to large caps. But we are liking the entire space. I mean, though we believe that we like, the cycle will take time to turn around, and probably we are 1 or 2 quarters a little early in saying that IT, we should start accumulating it and adding it to our portfolios. But we feel that, once the cycle turns around, then probably it might be a little late to add on. And actually, in a staggered manner, one should actually start doing it at the current juncture. And in this juncture, whichever companies are best placed to play the next AI cycle, those companies will benefit. So, our topic currently stands with we like Hexaware, persistent in the small cap, and Hexaware, and along with that we like the HCL Tech.
All right, a fair few names coming in from the IT pack. We did see metals running up earlier in the day. Today, in the afternoon, a little bit of a cool off, but still very much in the green. Hindustan Zinc, Vedanta, some of the major movers there. A lot of buy calls coming in on a Vedanta, in fact. So let me pull that one up in particular, Sneha, and see if you've taken a look at Vedanta lately. Where is it at on your radar? Sneha, within the metals pack, we've been seeing some buzz all around, but Vedanta in particular, on the back of a bunch of buy calls, wanted to get your view in as well.
Sorry, I missed the question. I mean, the voice is not clear.
No worries. We'll come back to you in a moment. Shell, let me bring up some of those gainers for you. Metals continue to look strong. Defense is lagging behind, of course, right now. Bit of a cool-off coming in there. But we've got auto strong, we've got metal strong. BEL is up about 1.3%. So that's one of the counters there that's still moving. Aisha up about 1%. HCL Tech, again, anomaly. But it's actually moving a little bit higher, just about 1% or so. Kotak Mahindra Bank, Coal India, Tech Mahindra, some of the gainers on the list. So IT, of course, holding fort today. Some of the Adani counters were also buzzing across the board. But on the downside, you've got the financials that are largely taking a breather right now. And also a whole host of the other names from the capital goods, defense, and that entire segment. Even consumer staples and so forth are actually trending a little quieter today and taking a bit of a breather. Shell?
Yeah, Abhasi, if you want to look at the silver lining, well, there are about 14 stocks that have hit record highs on NSE 500. And mostly these are names that we've often talked about. The newest one I see is Asahi India and Cummins India as far as the new names are concerned. Otherwise, we've discussed them all. City Union Bank, Hero Motors, Maruti, Laurus Labs, M&M, so on and so forth. The point is that it's the broader markets that have sold off. So you have individual brilliances. JM Financial is up 5%. BSC is doing well. Kotak is something that you and I had discussed in the morning. Yeah. All those are in the green. But it's the sell-off broadly that's a bit worrisome. Let's see what the RBI commentary is. It's not as if that we are down in the bondooks. But yes, 26,200 is fine. Let's see how it goes. We have about 5 minutes left. So the close will be below 26,200. That's worrisome.
We're still trending at all-time highs, Shell. We're still trending at all-time highs. All right, let's move this ahead.
You are now optimistic than I am.
Absolutely. Someone's got to balance it out. Let's move ahead now.
One of us has to be more optimistic than the other. So it's on a temperature scale, you are at 100. I'm at maybe 95 today.
Not too bad. Well, is this record-breaking rally the real deal? Market veteran and one of India's most celebrated investors, Shankar Sharma, joined Business Today TV earlier and talked about the rally that we've seen, the sectors he loves, the ones he's avoiding, and exactly what investors should expect in the months ahead. Is the party getting started or is caution the word? Listen in.
एक बहुत ही ट्रिकी फेज है मार्केट का एंड अगर आपको याद होगा तो मैंने एग्जैक्टली ये बात 1 साल पहले 1.5 साल पहले दोनों बार कहा था कि अगले कुछ वर्षों में इंडिया के मार्केट से आपको बहुत हाई रिटर्न्स की उम्मीद नहीं रखनी चाहिए और अगर 2-5% सालाना रिटर्न बन जाए जो कि एडिक्वेट नहीं है अगर मुझे इतना रिस्क उठाना है तो मैं 5% रिटर्न से क्यों मैं खुश हो जाऊं बट मुझे लगता नहीं है फिलहाल कि ऑन एन एग्रीगेट बेसिस फ्रॉम द प्रीवियस हाई फॉर द नेक्स्ट फ्यू इयर्स ऑन एग्रीगेट ऑन द इंडेक्स लेवल आपको फिक्स डिपॉजिट रिटर्न को बीट करने वाले रिटर्न्स बनेंगे इसका मतलब ये नहीं है लेट मी ऑल्सो ऐड इसका मतलब ये नहीं है कि शेयर इंडिविजुअली नहीं चलेंगे डिफरेंस क्या होता है शायद ब्रॉड बुल मार्केट और एक बेयर मार्केट में ब्रॉड बुल मार्केट में 70-80% ऑफ द स्टॉक्स राइज बट 20% घटते भी हैं ऐसा नहीं कि सारे स्टॉक चलते हैं आप डेटा देख लो इतिहास में देख लो मैं तो रोज यही करता हूं अब नहीं करता लेकिन पहले करता था किसी भी बुल मार्केट में 70-80% ऑन द एवरेज स्टॉक्स गो अप बट 20% फिर भी माइनस होते हैं बेयर मार्केट में वो उल्टा हो जाता है जहां 70-80% स्टॉक्स फ्लैट या घटते हैं बट 10-20% स्टॉक चलते भी हैं
जी
तो अगर आप पिछले 1.5 साल में देखें तो इंडेक्सेस फ्लैट या डाउन है बट कई स्टॉक्स चले भी हैं कई स्टॉक्स चले भी हैं दिल्ली की एक कंपनी है जिसके हमारी आपकी बात भी हो चुकी है अगर आप देखें
जी
तो वो पिछले 12 महीने में डबल या 2.5 टाइम्स हो चुका है आई एम नॉट सेइंग कि आगे होगा क्या होगा मैं कोई प्रेडिक्शन नहीं कर रहा हूं लेकिन कंपनियां हुई है इसी दौरान जिन्होंने अच्छे रिटर्न्स किए हैं तो जस्ट दैट कि उनको परखना जांचना पड़तालना बुल मार्केट में थोड़ा सा आसान हो जाता है बेयर मार्केट में और डिफिकल्ट हो जाता है बिकॉज बेयर मार्केट में होता क्या है बिग डिफरेंस कि कैपिटल की अवेलेबिलिटी कम हो जाती है और छोटी कंपनियों के लिए फ्यूल है कैपिटल उनको अगर कैपिटल ना मिले और व्हाटएवर माइट बी देयर एक्सपेंशन बड़ी कंपनियों को भाई इतना कैश फ्लो होता है कि अपने आप को सस्टेन कर ले और छोटी कंपनियों की ग्रोथ के लिए बुल मार्केट की आवश्यकता होती है
जी
यू सी बहुत दिस इज अ वेरी बिग डिफरेंस बिटवीन स्मॉल कैप इन्वेस्टिंग एंड लार्ज कैप इन्वेस्टिंग द स्मॉल कैप नीड एवरी साल 2 साल पे आप देखो प्रेफरेंशियल होगा राइट्स होगा ये चीजें होती रहती है बिकॉज उनको कैपिटल चाहिए अब बेयर मार्केट है तो कैपिटल नहीं मिलता कैपिटल नहीं मिलेगा तो ग्रोथ नहीं होगा तो थोड़ा ये स्पाइरल हो जाता है इनके लिए
All right, market's just about to close and we are trending just about flat. I have to say, while there's been resistance at the higher levels, the Nifty has also managed to withstand and has not cracked beyond 26,150 either. That was the last critical level that we had looked at. 26,173 is where we're trending at just about a minute before close. The index has been quiet today despite incredibly strong GDP numbers. I think the attention's now shifting to what's happening on the currency. Reduced FI buying, of course, as we head into festive period at the end of the year, and awaiting some clarity from both the RBI Bank as well as the Fed in terms of rate cuts going forward, and that could be the next fillip for consumption going forwards. Inflation otherwise has been moderate, and there are no other macro clouds, so to say, but right now markets really reading more into the impact of tariffs and ongoing uncertainty with regards to the trade deal. Let's take a look at the overall gainers and losers right now. We've had names like Max or Indigo, Bajaj Finance on the downside. In fact, the advance decline ratio more or less tilted towards the end of the day. Auto, of course, stood out thanks to sales figures, but we've had a whole host of those auto names trending at 52-week highs, and of course, the initial sales figures from Maruti or Tata Motors CV is looking really good. So auto, of course, as anticipated, continued to perform. Most indices were flat. We did see a little bit of action in IT, and in the back of currency fluctuations, a little bit of action on metals, even though they cooled off a touch during the session, but still ended higher. Realty was where we saw some profit booking, or just about, some amount of lag in profit booking coming in. And pharma as well was trending lower today, apart from individual gainers like a Walcott, which were driven by news. That's where we leave it for now. That was the closing trade for Monday afternoon. A little bit more quiet than we would have liked on a day when we had some fabulous GDP numbers. But we'll wait and see what the central banks have in store for us this week. Thanks so much for watching. From overnight global cues to live Dalal Street moves, we decode what